Welcome to this module where we discuss the early days and learn about your baby's hunger cues and how important they are to a successful breastfeeding experience. It can take 4 to 6 weeks for parent and baby to learn how to breastfeed well together. Be patient and gentle with yourself. Each time you breastfeed your baby, you're both learning this new skill, and it takes time. It's important to respond to baby's early hunger cues, and doing so will not spoil a baby. Crying is a late hunger sign, and by this time baby is not ready to learn, just as you wouldn't be ready to learn a new skill if you were very upset or hungry. Everyone learns better when they are calm and nourished. When a baby is skin to skin with their mother, they have access to feed any time they need. But when baby and mother are clothed, it is up to the parent to respond to the visual signs or hunger cues that show that your baby is ready to feed. Here are some tips that help set you and your baby up for a good start. Stay safely skin to skin as much as possible. Follow your well baby's cues. We will be talking about what it looks like when your baby is hungry later in this module. Breastfeed early, often, and exclusively. People worry that there isn't enough milk when baby wants to feed often, even at night. Actually, this is baby's way of getting mother's body to make more milk. Also, baby's tummy starts out very small and can only take a little milk at a time. Learn how to express your colostrum and milk by hand expressing. Did you know hand expressing in the first 6 hours after the birth of your baby can help you make more milk for your baby later on? Learn how to do this by watching Module 3, Expressing Milk, or asking your hospital nurse or public health nurse how to do this. In the early weeks, avoid using bottles or soothers, as they may affect the way baby suckles and takes away time from learning at the breast. Be very cautious when you are pregnant when you sign up for free samples or perks through a store or a website. Formula companies may get access to your information and send you free samples of infant formula. Many parents have found that having formula in their home has led to unplanned formula use that interferes with the breastfeeding journey. Many parents don't know that any introduction of formula or supplements can have a negative impact on the mother's long-term milk supply. Your body responds to your baby's needs, and giving formula means your body is not getting the signal to make more milk. Often, parents are concerned in the first few days when their baby seems to be hungry often. This is normal and expected and will help to increase your milk supply. If you do need to give anything other than your own breast milk to your baby, make sure you also hand express or pump to protect your growing supply. Each time baby is feeding away from the breast, to protect and build your supply, you need to hand express or pump. Remember, to make more milk, you have to move the milk. In the video coming up, we will see what these hunger cues look like and learn how important it is to recognize and respond to early hunger cues. Feeding baby based on their early hunger cues makes sure they get the milk they need and helps them feel safe and cared for. Crying is a late sign, and you may need to calm your baby before they're ready to latch. You can do this by expressing some breast milk and giving this to baby, or by soothing in other ways such as getting skin to skin to comfort baby.
In the first few days, babies can be quite sleepy. You may need to wake your baby to feed. When your baby is in a light sleep or is drowsy, holding him skin to skin or changing his diaper may help wake your baby enough to feed. If your baby is alert and wants to feed, don't worry about changing his diaper until after the feeding. Take advantage of your baby's readiness to feed. Cues that your baby is ready to feed include bringing his hands to his mouth, rooting or moving his head as if looking for the nipple, opening his mouth, licking his lips, and sucking. Crying is often a late feeding cue. Babies feed best when they start before they become frantic and begin crying. If your baby is crying, you may need to calm him before trying to feed. It's important to feed your baby 8 or more times in a 24-hour period during the first week and offer both breasts at each feeding to help you make milk and meet your baby's needs. Watch your baby for feeding cues and readiness to feed, not the clock. In some cases, it may be important to wake your baby to feed if your baby is small, was born early, is not interested in feeding, has gone a long time between feedings, or if it has been suggested to feed your baby more often. If your baby looks interested in feeding, offer your breast. It is difficult to overfeed a breastfed baby.
As baby becomes hungrier before getting access to the breast, hunger cues become more evident and easy to recognize. The images you see here show that baby is becoming a bit more concerned and needs to be fed, actively showing you this hunger with his behaviors. One huge benefit of being skin to skin with your baby as the breastfeeding parent is that baby can decide without limitation or barriers such as clothing when baby wants to eat. This unrestricted access helps baby learn about self-regulation and feel more closely bonded, feeling safe and secure, hearing your heartbeat, and feeling your warmth. If your baby is crying because they are so hungry, this is a late hunger cue. It is best to respond to the early hunger cues and avoid getting to this stage whenever possible. Babies are now so hungry and have become so upset or worried that they are not able to eat. Remember, babies have a very small stomach, and if you could only have a few milliliters or an ounce or two each time you ate, you would need to eat frequently as well. The other reason it is best not to wait until your baby is showing you the late hunger cue of crying is because when babies are in a calm state, where their needs are met, they are in the best state for learning. The belief that responding to your baby early will spoil them is false. It simply means that you are meeting their needs and helping them to develop in the best way possible. Once your baby has had enough to eat, the once clenched fists, flexed arms, and a boxing and protective position will relax and open. Some babies fall asleep, and you can lift up their arm, then gently release their arm, and their little arms will be floppy. This is often called being milk drunk and is a good sign. Even if they still have bent arms when they fall asleep, you can easily open them. Whereas if a baby is too tired to eat but hasn't yet had enough, you will feel more tension when you try to open their arms while sleeping. The other easy to tell sign that your baby has had enough is that they will be content or happy as on the image on the right. They might also push away and release the breast from the feed. These are all good cues that you can follow to know that your baby has taken what they needed for this feed. Our maternal health care providers know about these hunger and fullness cues, and you can look for this poster at our many hospitals and health units. You can also search on the web for Fraser Health Patient Education Catalog and type in "I'm hungry" to get a digital version of this document. It can be handy to show other people who will help care for your baby. It is important to know how many wet and poopy diapers to expect. Do you notice a pattern here? First day, one or more wet diapers. Second day, two or more. Third day, three or more, etc. At the end of the first week, they should have five or more very wet diapers, plus dirty diapers. This is an easy way for you to know that baby is getting enough breast milk. When healthy babies are fed based on their hunger cues, they will get the milk they need to grow and thrive. Preterm, sick, or jaundiced babies may need to be woken up to feed as they may not wake up on their own. If this is the case, make sure you connect with your doctor or public health nurse. Sometimes these babies need to be fed on a schedule until they get stronger and healthier. In addition to babies' increasing output or pees and poops, you can also tell that baby is getting enough by their satiety signs or fullness signs. You may notice that your baby comes off the breast or stops suckling, is content, and sleeping after a feed. It can be helpful to know that when newborns fall asleep, they are in a light sleep phase for about 20 minutes before reaching a deep sleep phase. During this initial 20 minutes, they may wake up easily. Their once flexed arms may be relaxed and limp and at the sides of their body, and their once closed fists might be open. You may not see all of the satiety signs listed above, or you may notice most of them. Tracking babies' diapers for pees and poops, observing their signs of fullness and weight gain will all tell you that your baby is getting enough. In the first few days, both you and your baby may be frustrated, as this little one seems to be. Breastfeeding is natural, but it is not always easy. In baby's first few days, offer both breasts each time you feed to help your body make more milk. In the beginning, when baby's tummy size is very small, you will be feeding very often, at least 8 or more times day and night. As your baby grows and develops a stronger suck, you will notice that feedings are often shorter and not as frequent, even though baby is taking more milk at a time. As you follow baby's lead, your body will respond to changes such as growth spurts when baby needs more of your milk. From about day 4 or so onward, you can listen for swallowing, which will sound like a ka. Until you hear this ka, you can look for swallowing, which is when your baby's jaw drops down for a moment between sucks and rests. Look for fullness cues like being content after feeds. Once your milk increases, you may notice that your breasts will feel softer after effective feeding, but not all women notice this difference. Counting the wet and dirty diapers already mentioned is an important way to know that your baby is getting what they need. You can find some helpful resources at the end of this module, like a link to the brochure, Breastfeeding Your Newborn. In the early days, breastfeeding can seem hard, and parents often feel that they have more questions than answers. Have confidence. Each attempt in feeding builds on what you and baby know. Remember, it is a journey, and you're in this together. As you move through the journey, feedings will change as baby's tummy size grows, and baby will often go longer between feeds, and the length of the feeds will shorten as baby gets more skilled at nursing. If it isn't going well, don't wait to get help. Often, with small changes, breastfeeding can become a comfortable and successful bonding experience for both you and your baby. If you have any questions, be sure to talk to your doctor, midwife, nurse practitioner, or call 811 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or you can call your public health nurse for support. You will find links to these resources in the resources section of the module. Thank you for listening. The next module looks at what to know about a good latch.